digital travel conversations. Today's topic, we have trends in the F&B and dining sector. So we have a vibrant panel consisting of Ms. Rinku Madan. She has completed a global journalism at the Harvard University in the area of global luxury. She had earlier studied French culinary with the French Culinary Institute in New Delhi, and to certify in the arena of food writing. She's also recently studied sparkling winemaking and with one of India's leading wineries, and she was the editor of Times Nightlife Guide and writes weekly columns at the Economic Times and the Sunday Times and the BBC Good Food Guide. So good evening, Rinku. Welcome you to the show. We have Chef Giovanni, who is currently with the Cocoon Island Resorts in the Maldives. Taste of Italy, which is curated by Chef Giovanni, a man in love with taste and rich traditions of Italian cuisine, an award-winning international culinary professional with an incredible portfolio of global restaurant setups, consultation, and culinary experience at cities like Nairobi, Kenya, Zanzibar, Tanzania, Dubai, UAE, Miami, USA, Moscow, Russia, and the list goes on. Shanghai, China, and now he is based in the Maldives. Then we have Mr. Sujith De Silva. Sujith, could you just briefly introduce yourself to the audience?
Sure, thank you, Suraj. I'm Sujith De Silva again. I go on all the way. Greetings from Sri Lanka. So my background is manager operations of cinnamon hotels in Sri Lanka right now. And my way back is I started my career at Colombo Hilton. That was in 1987 from the inception. Then I moved to New York. I worked for Sheraton and Hilton both together. Came back to Sri Lanka, joined Aiken Spence, one of the largest companies. And currently working for Silman Hotels, which has 8 resorts. And in city, you got Silman Ranch, Silman Ranks, Silman Lake. So here I am. Yes.
Thank you, Sujit. Thank you for the brief and nice introduction. Moving over to you, Harshal. Harshal is currently with the Taj Palace in New Delhi. Welcome to the show. Could you just briefly introduce yourself for our audience?
Thank you, Suraj. So, hi, everybody. I'm currently at Taj Palace. I'm the Director of Food and Beverage here. I started my career in 2005. Worked in various restaurants, joined Taj Group at 2011, where I was a chambers manager, operated chambers, then obviously moved on. Also was fortunate to handle some of our signature restaurants. One of them was Golden Dragon, and then moved on, came to Taj Palace in 2017.
Thank you, Harshal. Very good evening to all of you. And now it's turn of my co-hostess, Shani. Over to you, Shani. The show is yours.
Thank you, Suraj. Welcome everyone to episode 11 of the SATA Digital Travel Conversation. I'll start with my questions now. My first question is for Sujith. Sujith, do you think the consumer behavior will change post-COVID-19, and will room service even be a thing after COVID-19?
So once again, everyone, let me thank Suraj Khan, the president, for giving me this opportunity on this panel of discussion. So answer to your question, pretty much customer behavior patterns always changes in Sri Lanka, especially because we had the past Easter attacks last year. So it's quite diverse, people change their patterns. And also going back to this question on room service, initially people had this thought where we should consume our meals in restaurants or in room service. But again, when we have these laid down guidelines of COVID, how the guests, with the social distancing, when you walk up to the restaurant, actually when you walk up to the hotel itself, It gives all the demarcations, the social distance, the cutlery, cutlery glassware, which is sanitized and it's personalized, you know. So even when you go to the buffet, you see the sneeze guards, the chefs are being served the food to you, and also the flow is being demarcated with the distance. So with the ambience what we have at the restaurant, so people always, especially at the resort, they love to be at the restaurant. And since from the beginning to the end, the practice is being briefed to them. So they love to be at the restaurant. Option is given at room service again. But yeah, it's a limited menu, set menu. Some may want to prefer that. So the option is given. Again, the majority, 99% wants to be at the restaurant.
Thank you, Sujith. My next question is for Harshal. Harshal, the Taj chain of properties has launched its own mobile application for food delivery. What is your vision for the future of the luxury hospitality industry in the post-pandemic world, and how important will technology be?
Hi. So yes, we have recently launched our food delivery app, and at IHCL, you know, we have been pioneering, at least in the food and beverage segment, say from a century old. From the first hotel which opened in 1903, we have been creating different restaurants which invariably became brands and are much renowned, like Golden Dragon, Shamiana, Machan, and the list goes on. So we have been first to do a lot of things in getting some cuisines to India. We were the first to open the coffee shop in India. And on the similar lines, this pandemic showed us different ways of doing, in particularly food business, you know, because a lot of guests and a lot of our patrons who patronize Taj have grown up with this particular brands. So, you know, just to give you example, some of the brands like Shamiana, Golden Dragon, and all were in existence before I was born. So a lot of guests have grown up with this restaurant, and obviously they have learned to eat a particular cuisine because of this restaurant. And due to this pandemic, they are not able to visit most of their favorite restaurants. So because of this new food delivery app, they get the food from their favorite restaurant. Second, with 100% confidence, because it is handled with complete touchless, contactless delivery in a kind of packaging which is well thought through, with self-insulated boxes. And we have currently launched the phase 1, which is primarily in Bombay. And eventually the phase 2 will be in Delhi and Bangalore. And soon after, in a couple of months, in a few more cities. So yes, it's a good thing that we have launched, and again, I think we were first to do it, and many will follow. As far as technology, it's going to play a very big role. You know, in restaurants and dining particularly, nobody thought about technology, because it was always, you know, a hard-bounded menu with 15 pages, a lot of other things. But now it is much simpler. It's a QR code. You just scan your menu and see it on your phone. Similarly, billing, you know, cash, credit card, EC machines, now it's all gone away. It's all digital. So yes, there are a lot of technology intervention into this new normal. And once, hopefully, whenever the pandemic is over, we come back to our normal. Few will go, but most of the technology inroads will remain. That's what I feel. Thank you.
Thank you, Harshal. My next question is for Giovanni. Destination dining is becoming increasingly popular among resorts in the Maldives. What are your thoughts on this unique concept whereby guests at resorts, islands, are entertained exclusively in a variety of stylish and distinctively different settings, both on and off the island, with creative menus and entertainment? Giovanni, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hi to everyone. I'm Italian, so my English cannot be perfect, but I will do my best. And so about this question, I think, like, you know, Cocoon, we have 2 resorts now, Cocoon and Uni. And our choice was 4 years ago to promote exactly what you say, Aisha, because our concept is just dining around. So everyone can choose a different kind of restaurant and with different kind of menu, and is all a la carte menu. That is in UME. In Cocoon is a totally show cooking area. So even for this pandemic problem, can we say that we are a little lucky, as we don't have to touch a lot of our concept, because one is a la carte and one is show cooking. I think for reply to your question, I think it's very important now to give to our guests opportunity to live different kind of concept inside the resort, not only buffet. I'm not a fan of the buffet, to be honest, as I was around the world, but I think we have to give different kind of opportunity to live different kind of food and give different kind of concept inside the holiday that they do.
Thank you, Giovanni.
Welcome.
Rinku, my next question is for you. Is Rinku here? Okay. Rinku, since long buffets are out of the question now, are we going to see more set menus or more a la carte? You're on mute?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, hi everyone. So long buffets, basically I think nothing has gone out per se. We are just practicing responsible dining right now. And everybody seems to be coming up with new wonderful initiatives, new ideas. Like Giovanni mentioned that he's not a fan of buffet. I think buffet system, neither am I a fan of, but most of our hotels, our restaurants, restaurateurs, chefs, they're all coming up with indigenous ideas of menus, how to serve food, how to, I mean, it's a pleasure seeing how home delivery has taken a whole new meaning with all of this. So I think, yes, this pandemic is till when it is we don't know, but we are definitely seeing a new lease of dining, a new kind of dining completely, which is since 2020. Thank you.
Harshal, my next question is for you. There is a common belief that food should be disinfected or sent through a disinfection tunnel before being served, which is very wrong and hazardous. So how can we make people feel comfortable that more measure has been taken for the safety and cleanliness in general?
Thank you. So I completely agree. It's a lot of myth which is all around that food needs to be disinfected and many more things, dispense tunnels and all that. But honestly, nothing. I mean, it's not that. I mean, you can't do that, and you should not do that. As far as it's all about creating confidence and trust in the people coming and dining at your restaurants. And we at the Taj and HCL, we have launched something called Tajness Commitment Restrengthen. It's again talking about the same thing, which is creating trust and a feeling of safety and hygiene for your guests coming into your hotels. In restaurants, definitely food plays a very critical role, and we have put in measures which are already in place from all the guidelines which has come from government bodies as well as WHO and also the food safety body, which is FSSAI. Apart from that standard which keeps us intact for the food quality, we also have some measures which are standard and put across all our hotels. Is temperature check of individuals coming to the hotel, hand wash practices which are already there. So I think if people coming into the hotel create a safe environment, I'm sure the end product is going to be safe. And that's the only factor which is most important in the current duration, because safety is the biggest thing. There's nothing beyond safety at this point in time. So it's only the trust what we have to create in our guests coming to the hotel. And I think that can only happen with strict training, adhering the policies. And, this is the time when, more training, rigorous training can take it, because none of us are in the culture of wearing a mask or maybe washing hands every 20 minutes. So it's only a strict training, and we have started in the hotels which are open, a strict training in terms of maintaining your personal hygiene and wearing the protective gears which are supposed to be worn in a particular area, because all areas have a different requirement in terms of PPEs. So just following that, I think is more than enough, and eventually it's the culture which will be setting up. Thank you.
Thank you, Harshal. Rinku, my next question is for you again. Economic activities are picking up across India, and restaurants are now pressing on online food delivery platforms to change commission structure, reduce discounts, and levy new fees for deliveries. The aim is to be able to avoid closure of restaurants. What's the current situation of restaurant and food delivery services across India? And please do share your views on this.
So definitely our hospitality business has taken a big hit, and it's really very challenging for everybody related to hospitality, what they're going through. But I have to, it is very commendable how it is being handled. People have immediately switched over to, like I mentioned, responsible dining. They have switched over to various other ways rather than, I hope nobody closes down, but they're trying their best not to lay off people, which is a very, very wonderful thing at this time to do. And at the same time, find ways on how to sustain by, like I said, creating innovative things like DIY meals, which are easy to put together, and even people who don't know how to cook are able to just follow the steps and just cook it in their houses. They're coming up with sauces which you can just mix and eat. So a lot of things are happening. A lot of new things are happening. Like I said, we've seen a new wave of delivery systems which never existed before. And yes, people are adapting to it, but we sincerely hope so that this goes away and we get back to our normal old dining and nightlife which we used to.
Thank you, Rinku. Giovanni, my next question is for you. As people become more aware of what they eat, health-conscious eating habits are increasing. What's your opinion on genetically modified food, and is COVID-19 going to be the revolutionist?
Very nice question. That also I can say also before COVID, I think there is a big confusion, confusion because I feel a lot of guests, a lot of our guests, they use some intolerance, allergenic, and a lot of word just because it's a kind of mood that they have in this week. I mean, I talk personally, I go outside the restaurant and I talk with each guest that I have in the tour resort. And I can say it's not much. The one are very allergic. So, and to be honest, the guests, they created a lot of problem if 40% of the guests are, example, allergic of the lactosium. So I would like to know who is allergic, who is intolerant. So this is very big point for us, because when I'm there, it's very easy for me to manage. But if I'm not there, I cannot be into resort at the same time. Can be some problem also for all the other guests. I don't think also that the COVID go to be a revolutionist things for the food. I think I like to use this word, common sense. I think if everybody from the factory, from the chef, from the waiter, they have a little bit common sense, will be everything's more easy, and of course a safety for our guests.
Thank you, Giovanni. Sujith, my next question is for you. Following the COVID-19 pandemic, many hotels and restaurants have resorted to takeaway and delivery services. Do you think this would affect the brand, or is it part of the diversification which was unprecedented? Sujith, on mute.
Interesting. Sorry about that. Not at all, in my personal view, because the brand image, delivery itself carries your brand image.
We can't hear you.
Can we hear now?
I can hear.
Yeah, I think you're good. Go ahead, Sujith.
All right, so let me say it again. branding, it doesn't hamper the brand because brand image itself carries the market when you, it all depends how you deliver your goods. And if it is the health safety message have been followed, there is no reason which will hamper the market in brand image. Especially as Harshal said, we have this Q&R code, which is digital for experience, where the guests could scan the menu and go through the menu over the phone through via WhatsApp. So that itself helped them to pick their own food. And I foresee there is quite often people more into this, and we have a lovely Indian restaurant. They love the Indian food, and they always want to prefer this. So going back to these COVID practices, which with the disinfections, the sanitizations, so the guests are pretty much more happy. They are comfortable in that, and they tend to order this. We also encourage the guests to come and. It's not a new thing. We have been following up this, and personally, again, it will not disturb the brand image. I would say it's another sales option where you carry the brand image, and it's all how one carries that, and we are pretty much fine with that.
Thank you, Sujith. Harshal, my next question is for you. How do you see the future of the catering service for wedding and MICE events?
I think this is a very important question, and there are a lot of things to it. So I think banqueting and convention is a complete U-turn from what it used to be before pandemic. India is known for big Indian weddings, where a lot of money is spent, a lot of people have been called off, everything. I mean, one wedding can go up to crores, which is a definite no-no, at least for the next few months. So as far as the wedding banqueting is concerned, it's going to dip because of the social distancing, because of government norms wherein not a lot of people can gather under one roof. So there are people who will get married, but with a very limited number. The big functions will become like a small intimate gatherings. And obviously when the gathering will become small, the overall expenditure or the grandness of the wedding will also invariably go. The setups will not be that huge. The menus would not be that elaborate. Maybe the liquor brands would be, a little curtailed, and a lot of other things. So, social functions as we speak in India will definitely see a lot of suffering, a lot of beating. And maybe a much smaller functions will happen, and that also with very restricted people. It will be a lot of, weddings are a lot of emotional thing also in India. So a lot of people are postponing their weddings because they want to do a wedding in a particular way. A lot of things. So, that's the wedding in the social segment. Small social functions, you have like birthday gatherings and, small functions which are avoidable are getting avoided. Are not happening in the hotel anymore. People are maybe doing a small function at the home, or maybe, a lot of people are in different cities. It's happening virtually over a call or something. As far as conferencing, which is obviously a big chunk, a lot of MICE business and coming months, which is mainly from October to March, is the heavy season wherein you generally see a conference happening every day. Will again change. I mean, you can't have more than 50, 60, 70 people under a roof at best. What I see, maybe 100 in the next 2 months. But 100 people conference doesn't really work, because generally a size of good conference is between 500 to 700. There are a lot of people who fly down for a conference, typically for an international conference, which will change the game completely, because in this current scenario, people might not fly and the conference might happen virtual. Now, this is a very big, very challenging situation that, if, as a hotelier, if I think if this virtual thing, if gets successful, maybe that will completely change the way conferencing will happen in future. Because currently people across the globe used to fly to one destination and do one international conference a year. Maybe if they're comfortable and feel the same result by doing it virtually, they might not want to do it in future. But yes, the things will definitely change, and in particularly in the catering business, things will be very different. We also, from the service point of view, will have to be very careful in terms of the way we serve the food. Maybe the rotational snacks which we see in the functions earlier will not happen. The rotation of beverages might not happen. And obviously a lot of things work backwards also, because one big function also has more than 200 people working on that. So will that many people be allowed to work from an event company? So many things will happen, but definitely a very critical area, and will change a lot of things, at least till the time we are in this difficult situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Harshal. Rinku, my next question is for you. We have seen people trying to create signature dishes during the lockdown, and restaurants and hotels have also started social media campaigns on how to cook these dishes. What have you got to say about to the food enthusiasts who are listening? Rinku, you're on mute.
Okay. Sorry, we've been having some technical glitches, I think, so we are back now. Yes, for the food enthusiasts, yes, absolutely. We have been working very hard, all of us in the hospitality industry, thinking of innovative ways how to entertain our customers. People are coming up with so many new concepts, new ideas. Like I said, DIY kind of meals. And there are these interesting sauces, there are these interesting processed foods that are coming out. So a lot of things for people who don't know how to cook, who know how to cook, a lot of things are coming out, and they are pretty popular. I think that is all that what we can do and hope for this pandemic to go away quickly. But till we don't resume our regular eating and dining. But yeah, I mean, some of the places are also replicating fine dine cuisines. I'm sure Harsha is doing it at his hotel, and so are other hotels. So they are actually giving out their signature dishes for people to enjoy at home. I know Bukhara is doing it, and so you can actually order in and they will come, and they come, serving with the likes. Recently, a restaurant had sent some food which came with, people dressed like they would be in a restaurant, and they gave the food. It was touchless contact. I mean, just the packets were given, but the way they served, even those the packets were given, and every was very nice. Each and every item was labeled along with the temperature of the chef at the time of cooking. The ingredients, how, I mean, so it's it makes you feel very safe, and all these great ideas are actually not making the pandemic seem so bad after all, if I may say so. So thanks to all our hospitality geniuses. This is I mean, actually all thanks to them for helping us sail through it.
Thank you, Rinku.
Is that good enough, or you want me to speak some more?
No, we'll come back to you after asking some more questions to the other panelists.
Yeah, I think you're frozen again. I can't hear you, Asher.
Okay, I'll just continue with the questions now. My next question is for Sujith. Sujith, following Sri Lanka's successful containment of COVID-19, that Sri Lanka tourism has been collaboratively exploring avenues of repositioning the country as the world's #1 destination with an excellent healthcare system by introducing extensive health and safety protocols to ensure a safe and secure traveler experience. What measures have you taken?
I'm sorry, nothing is audible. I think there's some technical.
Sujith, what measures have you taken in the wake of COVID-19? Any special requests for contactless or no touch, for example?
So talking about this COVID-19 itself, I would love to thank the first citizen of this country, how it was controlled. And also be thankful to the doctors, the public health inspectors, the nurses, and also the 3 armed forces, how they really combat this. And on the initial stage itself, the airport was locked down. This is all about pre-planning how we manage this curtailed. If you look at the debt component itself, it's about 12. So it's a happy news how back again we came back. And also, I would rather say the cluster, people were identified where the symptoms were there, and they were managed and sent to quarantine centers. So this is the country that everybody should visit. See, it's much more safer. Talking about my hotel and the hospitality industry itself, people are going through, they have to go through a comprehensive checkup, temperature check. The staff also goes through that before they enter the hotel. We also have a pre-checklist which we send to the guests. So everything is digitalized. There is face-to-face. It's limited, rather, I would say, because people are tired at being home, so they want to come back and see the properties, take a break. So they have been sent this debrief. This is the guideline that you should follow. Then the staff has gone through comprehensive training, and also the branding has done a checkup of the hotel. Then the Sri Lankan Tourist Board has sent us some guidelines to follow. So all in all, it's a teamwork that brought us to curtail, and we are back in operation again. We are open. We opened the hotel, in fact, about 30 days ago. And actually, we are full up right now with the Sri Lankans. And expecting the best good news is we have reservations coming from far Europe, like German and French, which will begin early Jan or February. That's a good sign. So I recommend Sri Lanka, a small, nice paradise island. Everybody to come to Sri Lanka, go through experience. As I said, Chef Giovanni, we don't believe in buffet itself. Country itself carries various cuisines. We want to go through that. We want our chefs have been lined up outside, so the game is always changed now. Chef not only they cook now, they also serve the guests. So I personally believe eyes eat food first. So people are much more curious of seeing this. Then again, we also have briefed the guests to follow the guidelines of a mask. Is a mask that they will have to wear in public areas. Also, when they come to dining, their temperature will be checked in, and that will be recorded. It's a full setup that we have the hotel, where if there is an emergency situation, there is a rapid task force which responds to that. In case, so the disclaimer form also is being filled. Let's say a traveler, if he had been out of the country more than 21 days, or have any symptoms of cough, basic sneeze, we also have an isolation room where they can relax and go through another thermometer check on their temperature. So they are at the comfort zone where we, in hospitality terms, we really look after them, and they have been taken care. So there are visuals guidelines which it is been demarcated at the hotel. It's been posted at the hotel. So also the digital atom screens carry these messages, and we encourage, even when you line up, when you go to the restaurant, it's been demarcated. So people, as Rinku said, people are aware of this and they cooperate. And the good news is the reviews that what we get right now is pretty much, and they feel much more safer. And as I said, they need to be step off from their, because if we had a lockdown for about 2 months, or rather less than that. So we are back in operation, and look forward for all of the world to come experience the small paradise island, Sri Lanka. Thank you.
Thank you, Sujith. My next question is for Giovanni. Now, Giovanni, Maldives is reopening borders on July 15th. And with guests starting to come from this date, mainly serving the European market, what changes have you thought of bringing in terms of food preparation or communicating with the guest while doing the rounds?
Yeah, I think the communication from 15th of July in Maldives should be more clear and transparent for everyone. Of course, some people are scared. Some people, we don't know the people that we receive, and so we have to be more practical to say what we're going to do. It's very nice when the guests they feel home. So this is our mission, and I'm sure Maldives is ready for do those things. Like, you know, in my case, in Cocoon and you and me, we still don't have, we never have a buffet. So it will be a little more easy for us, but for sure, if I can say some suggestion to my colleague, we can concentrate on the show cooking. So where the people can see from the raw food, from the final preparation, what we're going to do for them. So if we don't do the something from the kitchen, I think the guests are more comfortable to don't be scared for what we prepare in the kitchen, but in front of them.
Thank you, Giovanni. And now, since we have a little bit more time, I'm going to pass it on to our host, Suraj.
So yes, we are left with some time more on the air, and we have quite a lot to discuss, like, because this is a very big industry, especially dining and, you know, the beverages, F&B. So now, in the given situation, what we realize is, okay, we have the hotel restaurants, F&B outlets in major hotel, you know, hotel brands which own them, and then you have your signature restaurants that function outside the hospitality industry as standalone, and the regular stuff. Now, under this current situation that we are in, it's a matter of survival. Yes, that's one. And the ones who can survive, then it becomes a matter of becoming significant. And how do you make yourself significant in this situation when there are a lot of new entrants coming into the market, especially in the food and delivery side of things? And for hoteliers, this is like, it wasn't there like a main area of focus, you know. Now it's like one key vertical in itself. So suddenly, from a comfortable position where people used to come to you, now you're taking your food to the people, and there you're definitely going to face a lot of challenges in terms of competition, in terms of new entrants and new ideas. So how well are hotel brands geared for this change? So I would like both Sujith and Harshal to you know, go at this. So probably Harshal, you can take the question first.
Thank you, Suraj. So, yes, you know, this is one particular area which we never explored. So, you know, but sometimes you don't explore because you think, you know, maybe the brand and maybe the people are coming to you. So there was no need of doing deliveries there. So there was no thought given to this process. And that's the reason we have launched a brand called Human. So that whatever we do in the hotel is exactly what goes to the guest residence instead of doing. So that's the reason the packaging, the kind of food is thought through. Everything from a box to the recipe to the delivery process has been thought through to ensure that the culinary experience which was given or, you know, guest enjoyed at a restaurant, the same sort of culinary experience he can get at his residence also. So yes, there is a lot of competition, but as of now, you know, there are no, you know, there are a lot of standalone who are doing this sort of deliveries. But again, keeping the current scenario in mind, where I mentioned safety is very important. And as a brand and as a Taj brand, we definitely give a lot of confidence to our guests who are ordering out of us. And the whole idea to make that what we deliver is top notch is the reason the whole and a whole app and a brand is launched so that, you know, what we are doing is the best. So the whole idea is that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Harshal. Sujith, could you unmute? Yeah.
Hi, thank you, Suraj. I think I also totally agree to what he said. It's a brand image. It's not only the quantity, the quality, the price. We always carry the quality. So price does not matter of fact. And when the brand image is made, people go for it, look for it. So they get the right what they have ordered. So they have no fear of doing that. So by going through a brand, so we especially carry pizzas, which is being delivered, and that has been a big hit to us in terms of sales. And as I said, some of the Indian, because we have various outlets, we have the fine dining, where we had some signature desserts and main dishes where guests missed them when they were locked down, especially during this 2 months period. So they hunt for it, they look for it, and they wouldn't mind it that even being delivered to them. So the post-COVID, since we are back again, people now, since they were stagnated at home, they really want to experience, come to the property and see. And the training, the comprehensive training which we went through on the direction of Sri Lankan Tourist Board and our brand team, the staff also goes through this process in batches. So not only the guest that follows the signs, the temperature check, even the staff goes through. And they too have a disclaimer form that every ship that they sign. And so they are also happy and eager. It's a total new experience. Of course, there is a slight few areas where you need to follow, but now it has been a routine, and people are happy much more. The guest is happy, and the staff is happy. So we are back in business. So now we want both delivery and so delivery also gives you a message to the customers. Okay, it's much more safer. Let's go and dine at the hotel now. So that's about it. Yes.
Thank you, Sujith. Rinku, this question is to you. So, as we all know, it's challenging times, and especially as a food, beverage, and restaurant consultant, what is the current scenario? What are the challenges that have been, you as a consultant has, faced? One, you used to like travel all around the world, sharing your knowledge and your ideas, and now you're stuck in one place. And
Absolutely.
and definitely, people out there also need services, which also throws up a lot of opportunities. So, how can you sum up the whole experience of being in this pandemic as a F&B consultant?
So honestly, the experience is terrible because, yeah, like you rightly said that, all the travel and all of it has completely stopped. Like I mentioned that our hospitality industry, our F&B industry is a genius industry, literally. So what we are now doing is that what we used to do in person, we are now doing online. So I'm still working as a consultant with all my old companies, but yes, it has scaled down a bit till good times come back again. But we are completely on track and working towards the next 6 months when hopefully things are going to get better, and also looking in more towards how to expanding in terms of delivery. So there's a term that we're using, which I used earlier, it's the responsible dining. So I add one more term to it, responsible and intelligent dining. So we are coming up with cuisines, with menus, which are, how should I say, completely, a novice can cook them. You don't have to be a cook to cook them. So, it's so literally looking at recipes like that, but which are very intelligent recipes, which are very delicious recipes. So we're coming up with all of those things. And what it is the pandemic is here, so it's here. So may as well make most of it, and until the good times come back. It's not so bad, the travel part.
Okay. Thank you. And Giovanni, I'd like to bring you into the discussion. Like now we hear from the people out front. They're directly linked with the market, Sujith, Harshal, Rinku. So as a chef who is in the background, how challenging is it for you to cater to all the ideas and strategies these gentlemen bring to the table?
I can see was, of course, we are all professional people. So I think that like I understand very well, everybody come up with a different kind of concept. I already said before that suggestion is to be very transparent with the guest, and I'm around the world, not now because now I'm blocked from 4 years in the Maldives, but I still travel, and there is very huge and fantastic concept around Dubai, around London, around New York. So I think we have to get some information and we have to get some idea from that concept, because to be honest, the kitchen is changed a lot in the last 10, 15 years, and also in the last 5 years. All this kind of, like I said before, intolerance and the different way how to cook, different kind of machine. So my suggestion is to improve every day and to understand which ideas are around the world to satisfy our guests.
All right. Again, one thing is, like, with all the safety standards.
Looks like Suraj is having some connection issues as well. Let's just wait a minute to see if it's fixed. So let me just ask you, the whole panel, you can start, anyone can start. What has been your biggest lesson during this pandemic?
Safety
Sorry,
issues
what?
that are,
What has been your biggest lesson during this pandemic?
Biggest lesson. Okay. I think the biggest lesson is to live for today. You don't know what's around the corner. So make most of what you have. Enjoy the moment, be in the moment, enjoy the present. Yes, plan for the future, but don't neglect your present. I think that has been my personal biggest lesson.
Anyone else want to take that question?
Just take things one at a time. Be happy, and we are trained in hospitality. So we are the second armed forces in whole country, where we never go to sleep. We are on duty 24/7, 365. So that's how it is. So more we are happy, the guests are happy. Give them a different experience, welcome them, and allow them to forget what they have gone through. See, and also acknowledge people who have done that great job, especially Cinnamon. We have 2,000 room nights given free to all the health workers. And so we acknowledge them. So that's a great tribute that which Cinnamon has come up. And currently we have all the health service, including the doctors, the nurses, the attendants coming into the country, into the hotel, who have served the whole country, and it's our own people. So we acknowledge, that's a tribute to them. And that also gives a message to the outside world and to my country of how the teamwork works together.
Harshal?
I think the lesson is keep thinking, because this particular situation is such that it's dynamic in nature. Maybe what you think today as a solution is not tomorrow, because you don't know what is one solution to a particular problem, because it is so dynamic, it's changing every day. So maybe you thought something today for a particular thing, tomorrow it might not be valid. So continuously thinking is what I have learned, and I thought is the biggest lesson for me in this pandemic. Thank you.
Giovanni?
Yeah, I think the big lesson that I have, and also maybe all our guests, is to accept a little bit more compromise. So we understand that the life can be changed in hours. So I feel there is a little more easy way to ask the things in the hotel, because sometimes we do some mistake, but sometimes the guests are very not able to understand the problem that maybe sometimes we have. So I think the lesson is to accept a little bit more compromise when you go on holiday, where you have to relax. But sometimes you see the guests maybe shouting for nothing. But I think the purpose for going holiday is to relax in Maldives. So this is the lesson that can be.
Okay, thank you everyone. Suraj, anything else?
I think we are good. And thank you all for accepting our invitation and coming on board to share your ideas and views on the whole situation. And it's good to see that all of you are very positive and you are keeping the flag flying really high under this trying times. Like Sujith said, indeed you're an army, and you're like the supply chain, and like without food we can't live. So keep innovating, keep doing well, come out with wonderful initiatives that will keep all the people around until we have a chance to come and sit like before and enjoy the chef's cuisine at Cocoon, or the kitchens of Cinnamon, and the wonderful
If there's some the internet issue again. So thank you everyone for joining us for this conversation and giving us your perspectives. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Pleasure meeting you all. Stay safe.
Thank you. We have a fantastic underwater team, you and me.